looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
I mean, she's there. You know, we can see her from fairly far. But that's something I noticed. Farina I have has a vision. Farina over there doesn't. Cry, cry? You're gonna cry, cry? Little baby goddess gonna cry? You see? You see? That's a crystal, not a vision.
Give up? This is all meaningless.
Ooh.
What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over?
Hello there.
Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just us.
You're supposed to reply General Kenobi. Slaps her.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
You know they wouldn't,
Farina,
right?
You were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
Bitch.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it.
Bitch, we heard you.
Who did that
Listen, Aqua.
uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the arts. They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marish Chaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them too.
Farina, going against their Archon, you do realize I helped stage a revolution against the Electro Archon, right? That is, and I didn't even organize that thing. That was already going. And we also helped stage another coup, but that one in Sumeru, to help the Archon because she was overtaken. You realize you're on a very thin ice right now, right? So stop trying to act tough, Farina.
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there!
Oh, bruh. The mob is really after her. 3 people. 3 people. A mob.
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
Will she run away?
They are... They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they?
Bitch, shut up.
That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
She runs away.
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with her.
Bruh. Are we seriously running away from the mob? Come on. She seriously just run away from her problems. Farina, like, come on.
This should be the place,
That's
right?
that's
Hey,
pathetic.
Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What? What place.
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine, fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Oh, a shack. A fish shack. Oh, the smell must be great.
Paimon's exhausted.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me.
Bitch.
No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
You're right. Yep, that's a good girl.
We will go out.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
I'm assuming, you know, primordial seawater is rising again.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
Yeah.
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well,
'Cause
there's
you're
no need to worry too
failing.
much about that. Novelette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, but the people of Poisson, they've already...
Has Serena finally reached her limit? Now that she's talking about her actual feelings, she's starting to look far less stiff. You begin to talk amongst yourselves as Serena slowly calms down.
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years.
So how old
I
are
once
you?
had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways too to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the
I will.
heavenly principles will have its way.
I will make
prophecy
enemy of
shall
them.
be fulfilled.
You still haven't given up then, huh?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free.
But that would also mean that all hope would be
Indeed.
just...
I've thought
Can't-
about giving
I
up
can't read.
so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still
Only now?
don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Come on! I
Girl,
could have sworn you were actually being honest just
you're not the
now.
Archon. We're running out of time. We can't just go back to square one like this. To get more from out of her. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share my burden.
But you have to speak.
That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this
Nah.
would be my duty alone.
No, bitch. Fuck fate. Fate is an asshole. We don't... Fate's a terrorist. We don't negotiate with terrorists. We kick them out the door and just do our thing anyway.
A witness. Yes. I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes?
Hell yeah.
In other words, you never belonged here.
Yeah, your world's
And
fate
if
doesn't
Tevat
involve me.
is in its entirety a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you?
Kind of.
If that's the case...
There is no time left. Please, Frina, just spit it out. Ooh, cutscene. Speak to me. Speak to me. Talk to me. Talk to bread. God. What the fuck? Linny. What? What?
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes.
What the
Do not
fuck?
forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
No,
May I interpret
because even
these
justice can be
words
unjust.
as your refusal to stand trial. In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
Oh boy.
You would draw your blade against a god?
I already am, bruh. Bruh.
See, it seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
Huh. Were we part of this plan or did they do it on their own?
Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Ugh.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
It
Shut
would
the fuck
seem
up.
that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
It was jazz hands.
Excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm
Ooh.
sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is
Yeah, you
my
were.
duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice! This time, I will protect you.
Ooh.
Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Fosalor, will now begin!
I'm still convinced she's not the actual Archon. But let's go.
We're making history.
Did you have to make a
Why does it
spectacle out of
feel
it?
like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes?
She's an
Also, even
actress.
though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
No
Alright
clue.
then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that so?
Ooh, she
Very
feels
well.
so betrayed
Then
right
please
now.
Speak, witness of Tivat,
Oh.
my accuser and fated opponent.
Oh, she must feel so betrayed right now. Oh boy. So we were part of the plan. We led her that way. Okay, so that's why Pan was like, oh, this is happening right now. Because we planned this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, let's go.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins.
Go
Just
on.
how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Plenty.
We did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people
Got
who
it, baby.
participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain
Ah.
clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover,
So
according
they did
to
start
our
a riot.
understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself.
Because you're a little bitch.
We arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean, the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
Bro, you guys
that's
carried the...
That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
You carried
As
that
the
box real
super
quick here.
ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah, but you didn't
The
have to
volume
hide
of the
it.
box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranias. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My
Bruh,
thanks for
played
everything.
her.
Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
Bro, she's so upset.
You're welcome.
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct
an
a giant
amazing
magic
scene.
box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water.
Wait, you dig
It
the
was a
tunnel?
lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's
Yes.
right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster.
Oh yeah, we're on the other side this time. We're on the other... Wow. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That this side is for... For... Not defense. Prosecution.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts.
Scare the shit out of you.
You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes,
Got it, baby girl.
that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
You ain't no Archon, you're just a bitch.
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson.
Kinda,
You
yeah.
make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
Nuh-uh.
Oh?
Was to give you one last chance. We hope that you'd share your secrets with us before the magic box arrived onto the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance.
I really didn't want to put you on the spot like this, you know.
It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience.
So wait.
Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Hell yeah. The question. What did Fremine do? Like, Neuvillette and Clorand gathered the people and prepared the stage. Linny and Lynette did the whole magic trick to get her there. We are prosecution and we try to speak to her. And lastly, Navia prepared the quote-unquote riot and pushed her in the direction of the magic box. What did Fremine do? He dug the hole. Yeah, the only thing we can do now is judge the Hydro Archon. I wish we had some Lumin lines. We had a conversation earlier. What did Frey want to say
Madam
to me
Prosecutor,
right
please allow me to pass this along.
Madam
This
Prosecutor.
is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Ah, she did our back work for us.
Wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too. Hey, Charlotte.
You don't have to stand up for that, you know. You could be sitting.
Hi, Muncie. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh?
Well, we might as well read it.
Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine. So in
Fair
other
enough.
words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument.
Huh.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
It's okay, I remember things.
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right.
Oh yeah, we're one up on her already. We are about to make a lap.
I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
This is the first time Monsieur Neuvillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out.
Yeah, that was our B. Yeah.
A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think. According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time.
Wait, so we are taking my dreams as evidence now? What next, Charlotte?
I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest,
Your
that
friends?
still gives me shivers.
Your friends? That's nice.
The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
Okay, fine. We told her about that? Okay.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just
it
fast
kinda
forward
is.
to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this.
That's what she thinks of herself,
course,
isn't it? The
It
actress.
is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true.
Ooh.
But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Yes! I called it. I've been saying this for months now. I've been saying this for months now. Yes! And the real Archon is inside the oratories. That's what it is. She's either inside the oratories or the primordial seawater. One or the other. It's one of the two. And holy fuck. Rare and mean voice lines. Sick.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
You didn't expect that, did you?
Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
I'm gonna make laps around you, bitch.
Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina
Damn
can
the
be
editing.
rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Nah, baby.
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either.
'Cause you're dumb-dumb.
Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause
That she's
to believe
smooth-brained.
that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
Huh. An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
People on that is fair. People only see us as their Archon because that's their long-held belief.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am?
An Oceanid.
And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
You're an Oceanid. How is this any... Ooh. Ooh. Receipts.
You may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And
We met
second
multiple of
all,
those.
Even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
What matters is the veracity of the
Curse.
claims.
I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Ooh.
You sensed it too, huh, Neverlet?
Instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
If they're in their human form. They can take different forms.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being?
Oh, that's rude.
Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods.
And what can you do?
For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Wait, that one trial proved the opposite. Fern actually has no control over the Oratrice at all. Yeah. Baby girl, you dum-dum.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Well, there is a need
Lady
now.
Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
Oh,
I never
throw the
thought
rulebook at her.
You'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
Well, if you're being a little
That was no trick
bitch.
of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
Oh, Novelette second of the gloves.
Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice.
You didn't make
Instead
it.
of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof
Could
that
you
she
give
has
us a
no
brief
power
demonstration
over
of your
Oratrice.
power as an Archon?
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
Bruh.
You don't need to go that far.
Sure, an Archon can at least match the capacity of a human with a vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium!
Paimon!
It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium!
So you're saying you have no power at all?
I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Yes, Nahida.
That, a huge stretch.
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
Exactly. Exactly.
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar.
Well, if you keep lying all the time.
Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is?
The being inside
you
your
have no
trace.
evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument.
You can try to prove that she's just a human. If she's only a human... What do you mean irrelevant? That's very relevant. Began to collapse and Navia fell into the sewer, into the water containing primordial. Only the protection of dead members prevented her from dissolving. The entrance of the Primacy is still beneath the Forbidden Zone in the Fortress of Merapede, and recently the Primacy has nearly broken, temporarily pushed back by Nivellette's power. In absence of many young girls for his experiments to try and find a way to bring back his wife. A murder case unfolded. I feel like this is my best shot. I feel like this is it.
That doesn't sound right.
Come on! I feel like Navia's, like, not Nave's thing was the most relevant one, but... Is this the thing? God damn it, Paimon. Go. Go. We have one left. We have one left. Let's go.
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you
Navia,
can
shut
use
the
right
fuck up.
here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court.
Woo!
Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice.
Super sorry.
I swear this really will be
Like,
the last time that I'll speak out of turn.
Super sorry. Super duper totally
I
sorry.
brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater?
Ooh.
If you are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But
Ooh.
if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Ooh. Ooh! Calling the bluff? Oh! Farina?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Oh boy.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
But he still had to
She's
state
just
that.
staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Are
Due
you
to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Ooh! Ooh!
Hey!
She actually did it. Oh wow, okay, I did not expect that. I thought she would break.
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you
Ooh.
believe me now? I really am your Archon. I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water. Really, was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewing? If you're present, Miss Siegewing, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewing?
Oh.
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see.
Oh, she seemed kind of horrified about Siegewing.
That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss.
Oh, bruh. Siegewing can see things differently.
Saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Oh, so
Thank
it was
you, Miss
diluted.
Siegewing. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
It was diluted
Well,
seawater.
Considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur,
Like just now?
we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
Oof.
I can't believe you...
Ooh. We tricked ya, yeah. Yeah, we tricked ya. But what's really going on here? Freya can have known the consequences. This is the she usually acts. It's actually more important to her to keep up her facade. But hadn't she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks. What happened just now didn't prove a single thing. Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
You're being desperate now. You don't sound good, Farina.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
No. Listen, I don't believe you. Oof. 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 Betrayed by everyone. Oof.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Oof. I am... Ooh.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway her. She's too stacked against her now.
Farina? Like, I feel kind of bad. Like, we did kind of emotionally just ruin her.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty.
Whew. Woof. Everything went down the drain, didn't it? 400 years.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Oratrice?
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Oh?
Well,
Did the Oratrice declare Farina to be innocent?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
Oh,
That's
wow.
actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
Oh, wow.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
Lumin looks
This outcome
pissed.
is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah, even Vache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Instead of Farina, the Oratrice rendered judgment on the Hydra Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt.
That's what he was doing.
Is the trial still going?
No.
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
So what did you do? With some help from the other Fatui, Femini brings a stone slate.
Is
Oh!
the first prophecy slate?
Fascinating.
Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water.
Primordial Sea?
But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
It's still not too late for you to shine.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
This looks like turning the oceanids into human beings.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
So wait, I thought...
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon.
I understand. I understand. So what happened all that time ago? It wasn't the Hydro Archon and the people of Fontaine just getting rid of the oceanids. Like, people of Fontaine say, oh, we made the climate not bad for them, so they all left to search for a nicer spot. Well, the oceanid that we met in the Bottleland, she said that they were driven away from Fontaine. So what happened is that the previous Hydro Archon turned oceanids that lived in Fontaine into humans. And now the Fontainians here, they don't even remember that. They don't even know the story. So when they touch the Primordial Sea, they take on the previous form as an oceanid. Farina, you're an oceanid too. I called it, by the way. Oh, that's so insane. Okay.
So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kind of talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Allah. Allah. Wow, wow, my mind is genuinely blown.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember.
Ah, bruh. Brother. Yeah, we have to finish it, yeah.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans.
Yes.
Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well.
And that's what happens when they touch primordial seawater.
The stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them.
Because the previous Hydro Archon has went against the divine authority.
This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing?
Yeah, turning them into humans.
The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on.
She's doing that right now. She's doing that. Farina's doing that right now.
We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
It seems that showed that a former Hydro Archon using Verify. Yes.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontainians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve.
And others can't. There we go. 1, 2. Try to be innocent, the aura trees.
That doesn't sound...
We can put Navia here, that's for sure.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, the stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
Prophecy will suddenly happen. This.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
And finally, I believe this is... Oh, come on!
A prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. But not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Masquerade was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontainians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
Yeah. Oh man.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an oceanid.
That they used to be.
The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay.
Yeah.
The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what.
Okay. I don't know how to.
Contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
I don't think I can pull this further. Now I can only see what further they come up with, because I'm out of ideas. But I was proven right multiple times today.
Gets it now? So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
All you bitches are oceanids. I killed one of you 700 times to level up Barbara.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
You bitches are not human. No rights for you. Slavery.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
The second layer is that the crown of the Hydro Archon was her creation of Fontaine's from
And it
Oceanids.
follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
Yeah, bitches,
And
you
yet,
old
after
demons.
many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
As for the third slate, I'm still convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
The fourth slate depicts the fulfillment of the prophecy as is already widely known.
And the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
Yeah, you're doing good, baby girl.
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth.
Wait, you know the truth?
While you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Unadulterated? Oh, speak to me. Oh, fuck.
Well? Did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you.
Tell me. Don't hold back. We just dropped some bombs on them.
Hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
Oh. Okay. Fair.
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids.
But join basically a hive mind as...
Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
Man, fuck the Celestia.
So you... we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
I mean, you were born as human, but
That's
internally you
way
were
too
an
much
Oceanid.
information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
Ah, panic. We're having a riot.
We can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
It does.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate.
Oh.
The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
So they are in the right order? What is the third slate supposed to
The key
present?
point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea.
Oh.
The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice.
Its people are literally made of water.
The literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
Oh, fuck off. We just did that. And now she's sitting there on the throne crying alone. Surrounded by people, because the people are the water. Oh, fuck.
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
Yo!
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
I don't know. Bro, I'm panicking myself.
No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
Yeah, fuck it. I'ma break the slate.
Does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
I mean, it's happening now. She's crying
I'd like
now.
to point out another small fallacy in your deductions.
Tell me.
About the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
Wait, could it be? The whale? The whale?
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
The whale.
It was both dream and reality.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that
Bruh.
could only be that
Big
thing
whale.
inside the primordial sea, right?
Yeah.
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Oh. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. That's very bad, as a matter of fact. Ah. Wonderful. Well, you can teleport. Well, that whale isn't as big as we've seen it before. It's actually a very baby whale. Oh god. Child! Hey, look at that, it's Child. Ooh. Really cool. Really cool. Hey, Child. You don't look so hot. Wanna come down here? Not there. I guess we're going after him.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
I'd wager that it's also the one that Child saw when he was young.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here.
You do?
That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while.
Oh, interesting.
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels.
Oh.
And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely.
Yep.
That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist.
It did try to eat them, though.
Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
That is correct.
Yep.
Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner.
And the
way he
Oratrice
looked,
judged him
he must
guilty.
have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
I imagine that. Time in Abyss works differently.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
I mean, I guess.
It is too late.
What do you... Wait, what? Oh, because Farina was already sitting there crying.
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself.
Oh.
Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed,
pretty.
it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something I will accept.
Yeah, fuck it.
We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit.
Let's go kill it.
We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Yeah, we'll take Fremen and his shorts to beat
That's
it.
not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end, no matter what.
Yeah, but you guys should keep away, because, you know, Primordial Sea. You know what? That's a good spot. I'm gonna go take a piss.